Hi everyone. Here we are with Vagrus, the Riven Realms live stream of the early access version that the developer gave kindly to me. We will try the first few moments of the game, of the new campaign, and we will see what's this game. It's an RPG and it's a strategic game, and we will see what will be this game. An early taste of what this game will be. Sorry for my bad English, I'm not mother tongue, so I will try to be the best that I can to live stream this game. So let's put me a little bit. Okay, here we are. And this is the start. Disclaimer: Vagrus, the Riven Realms is still in development, so there will be bugs, missing content, and unfinished features. Vagrus is a game that involves a fair amount of reading if it is to be enjoyed and experienced as intended by the developers. And this is the reason why, I decided to live stream it in English. It is a game where success is by no means guaranteed. You will probably lose everything several times before getting the hang of leading your traveling company. Okay, play intro. Lost Pilgrims. Comitatus. An armored traveling company. It usually carries cargo and passengers across the westland of the continent. It can get involved in a variety of jobs ranging from trading to mercenary work. Vagrus, a venturer, a vagabond, a captain, the leader of a comitatus. Okay, the timing was perfect.
As they call it. What a fine poetic name for something as rotten and twisted as our land has become. It was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring society created by humankind, spanned almost the entire continent of Zerine, the cradle of man. But after several millennia of progress and incomparable achievements, inevitably, the empire began to fall into stagnation and decadence. Desperately holding on to their privileges and resisting change while trying to avert the collapse of the realm, the emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true despots in cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip mining foreign resources, oppressing imperial citizens, war on several fronts, genocide. Eventually, the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the empire to right its wrongs. Thus, in a chain of dreadful events that became known as the Calamity, they annihilated the empire in a matter of days. The gods then finally saw what they had done in their anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken, and they left this reality, never to return. The continent and its inhabitants seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land that no longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the Calamity, now riddled the continent, and people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures. Terrible beings entered through the cracks in the tapestry of reality and rose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image, and the river realms, now godless and vengeful, reincarnated from the ashes. The inhabitants of the land, such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself constantly resists our every attempt at building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers, or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire. The leaders of the endeavors are, some say, the bravest men and women of the river realms. Such a leader is called a Vagrus.
So this is the starting lore of the game. We are in a broken planet that is similar to the Earth, I think, with an empire that is fallen, an empire that reminds a lot of the Roman Empire, but crushed from the gods, and where strange creatures and other things that came from other planets, other realities, came to dominate the world. We are a Vagrus, and we will start a journey on this planet, trying to survive and to acquire power and money. So we have the only option of starting a new game. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away.
Ah, yes, a Vagrus. What a profession. Daring and savvy, always watching the horizon, always looking for an opportunity, and of course, for what is best for his comitatus, eh? And you are a Vagrus too, are you not? Many of your kind have I seen in my long life as a vagabond. Care to listen to a story about your exquisite occupation, good master? It is a tale of woe and terror, but it is also a tale that is true, as I have seen it with mine own eyes.
Okay, this start is a flashback of this old man that will lead us to a sort of tutorial, the Pilgrims of the Wasteland. And we have this only option because we never did it. Tell us your tale, old man. It will at least help kill the time.
Wise you are, good master. My tale is of a Vagrus, such as yourself, but one whose fate was cursed and wrought with ill fortune. It all happened a long time ago. 10 years, maybe more. I was but a passenger, traveling rough roads and forgotten ways with this comitatus, south along the feet of the great mountains of the west.
We will start Pilgrims of the Wasteland. I think I have to read these. These comitatus I speak of had fallen under hard times. Perhaps it was due to imperial harassment or unfortunate decisions, or simply bad luck. Hierophant's Saint of Rhodes does not always smile on us mere mortals. But however it came to pass, their coin was drying up and their opportunities seemed few and far between. One of the last chances their Vagrus saw was to travel to the remote town of Scrap Heap and spend their remaining funds to stock up on cheap scrap metal. This metal could be sold for great profit over in the east and south. It wasn't a bad plan truly, but it was not without risks either. Welcome to Pilgrims of the Wasteland, a standalone story of Vagrus, the River Realms. It serves as an introduction to the setting and also as a tutorial to the game. It behooves you to read the tutorial text and follow the instructions to gain a better understanding of how the game works. The icon can be clicked in tutorial window to show what the section is referring to via a pointer. Note that you have to be on the right UI screen for the pointer to appear. Although Vagrus is an open world game, due to Pilgrims of the Wasteland being a tutorial, it progresses along a narrow guided path in the beginning and opens up only later, after the core mechanics have been introduced. You can access the hotkey list by pressing F11. On the campaign map, your comitatus, traveling company, always occupies a node and moves between nodes through paths. Moving along paths costs movement points indicated next to each path. Every in-game day, you have a number of movement points to spend before you need to camp. To move, click on a nearby node and select a move from the radial menu. You can select a node that is farther away. The MP cost of moving there will be calculated on the path highlighted. Move to scrap heap. 7 movement points. Okay. Most of the story is presented through interactive texts called events. Events provide choices you can pick from at each step. Various choices can have a number of consequences. Some choices have dependencies, that is, you can only pick a certain choice if you have the right prerequisite, skills, perks, chapters. You can click choices or use 1-9 to select them. Okay, let's see what is this event. Having gone ahead of the column with a handful of scouts, you watch from a ridge as your comitatus slowly trudges along, making its way ponderously among dormant geysers and broken terrain. All around you, the hills smolder lazily in the perpetual twilight. Are you alright? Javek's voice resonates sympathy as he appears next to you on the ridge. You nod slowly, but do not look at him. Your gaze lost in the distance where ash cloaks the horizon and the towering mountains to the south and west. Turning to your combs, the people of the comitatus, you note his supportive smile. You and Javek has been traveling around the realms together for years now. There is no other person in the world who you trust more than you trust him, except, perhaps, yourself. I know you feel constrained, but I still feel like I said before. You made the right choice by leading us here. Okay, so we have 4 options, I think. Or more? No. 4. The first one is time will tell, but I still have my doubts. It is a long shot and you know it. The second, there wasn't much of a choice. Either these or returning my trading license and hanging myself. 3. It has to work. We cannot fail. Not like this. The fourth, thank you, but the last thing I need right now is a clumsy pep talk, even if it's well meant. I will choose the first one because I think it's the most objective one. It's the more responsible, I think. Javek nods. True, but it's better than just giving up. The crew agrees too. That counts for something, no? It does, yes. Good to know that they still have faith in me as their Vagrus. Or perhaps they are just as desperate as I am. It doesn't change a thing about our predicament, so why should I care? I will choose the first one. It does, yes. Good to know that they still have faith in me as their Vagrus. They do have faith in you still, Javek says. It should not come as a surprise, since you've known and traveled with most of them for years and years. Some founding members of a comitatus you could trust with your life. But you have heard stories before about Vagri who have been abandoned for less. Times being what they are, Javek trails off. With Imperials cracking down on us independents more heavily than before, business is tough. Everyone knows, and they appreciate your efforts to keep us floating. Sorry. Our plan ought to give us another chance. The plan. Okay. When text in event is highlighted pale blue, it means that you have found a codex entry. Clicking on such texts opens the codex and navigates you to the entry. Sorry, I'll only move okay, to see if there is something on the chat here. Okay. The plan. You talked your traveling company into this a few weeks ago, but with each step towards the western mountains, more and more of them started to have doubts. Such is the way of the road, perhaps. The plan involves a desperate attempt at squeezing a low selling price for metal bits out of an old contact of yours in the town of Scrap Heap, stocking up on said metal by spending the rest of your coin and bringing the cargo down south along the Molten Tongue to Devon, via Avernum and Ash. There's a shortage in metal in Devon, and you know several buyers who'd give a pretty price for your goods if you can only make it there before many others with a similar cargo do. Such contacts are the boon of decades spent on the road. But even if Narbo, that villain, gave you an agreeable price in Scrap Heap, the road is not without its risks. Sneaking through the gap between the dead forest and the Molten Tongue is inviting disaster. So it's not a path many Vagri will take. And of course, if this fails, you have utterly run out of alternatives. Do you think Narbo will help us out? The old scavenger was never famous for his goodwill, Javek wonders. We have three options. One can only hope. I haven't seen him in years, but we always did good business. But you're not sure he'd remember you or he is alive at all. If he is not willing, we must find a way to compel him. There's no telling what you would be capable of if it came to do that. He has to help us out. He won't be able to pass up the opportunity to make us indebted to him. Even the thought of selling yourself out in such a way makes you feel dirty. I think the third one is what I feel most. Hey? I clicked 3, but I cannot choose this one. Why? Well, maybe it's... Ah no, okay, I have to click the highlighted words first. Oh, so let's see a bit more of Scrap Heap. Okay, the Codex is a collection of entries you have found through this world. Okay, your travels and events. Entries contain information about the world and its inhabitants. Each time there are unread entries, the crystal on the cover of a closed codex emanates light. Entries are displayed in a list on the left. You can search entries and filter them by categories using the button on the top. Unread entries have a blue icon and appear on top, while already read entries have a gold icon. The text of the selected entry appears on the right. Information in the codex is supplementary. It is there for those who wish to learn more about the Riven realms. You can close the codex now and continue your journey. You can open it again by clicking on the book in the bottom right corner. Okay, but I want to read this about Scrap Heap. Scrap Heap is a town on the edge of Imperial territory just north of the Molten Tongue and south of the Forest of Shadows. In the smoldering shadow of the great mountain of the how much is it long? Okay, no, it's bearable. In the smoldering shadow of the great mountains of the west, the Scrap Heap rarely sees sunlight, as the skies are forever ashen and overcast. The air is hot and dry. Earthquakes are common. Most of the time, Scrap Heap is engulfed in smoke and ash, and a constant reddish twilight is upon it. Surrounded by a low wall, the town is indeed made of scrap and junk, mostly stone with metal scraps, as well as leather and cloth awnings. A single tall tower stands high above the town on a hill, housing a beacon that aids scavenger teams in their return, but also gives home to Heap King. Inhabitants wear scarves and masks to aid their breathing. Okay, so not the very best place to live. Well, after let's learn about his history. Well, after the calamity, people flocked to the molten kingdom of Dwendarthar, formerly the homeland of all dwarves on the continent, in order to plunder any riches that remained there. So it's basically a fantasy Earth. Especially the rare metal that is still in abundance in the kingdom, because Dwendarthar is now extremely volcanic and volatile. The scavengers did not dare to dwell in it, only in its close proximity. Thus the settlement of Scrap Heap was born. Okay. So it is born because it is near Dwendarthar. The town is not under imperial jurisdiction because the empire never gave a damn about its existence out in the savage, barely inhabitable mountainside, and simply let gangs and comitati gather and sell the precious metal and ore in one of the border towns. Still, some trade houses sometimes set up a temporary compound there, only to get robbed and driven out months later. Scrap Heap is run by the Heap King, a gang lord who organized the previously chaotic and warring work teams. Okay. So it is a little bit by itself. Oh, okay, the book is here. Okay. We have also to read about the Molten Tongue, Deathen, Avernum and Ash and Dead Forest, but I think we will go past these, because I want to show you the most of the game in 1 hour, so I will not waste too much time about the lore. Okay. These are dark times and call for desperate deeds, but such thoughts make me really uncomfortable, to be honest. Javek rubs his chin absent-mindedly. You've seen this expression of his too often not to realize he's using his sorcerer's talent to read your mind. Get out of my head, you know the rules. I will take the second choice. Apologies. Javek quickly rubs his eyes and looks away briefly. You know how it is. It comes to me so naturally that sometimes I didn't notice I'm doing it. Your thoughts were loud, Vagrus. I have to actually block them, you see. After joining your comitatus 6 years ago, Javek proved to be an invaluable asset. Not only does he sense moods and thoughts around him, he's also able to subtly manipulate others when he focuses his inner energies. It comes very handy when doing business. Then there's his other perks. A few times you saw him shatter the minds of men and beasts who tried to kill him. Not a pretty sight, but a very effective deterrence. Yet, because he is not a trained sorcerer, at least not in the traditional sense, his abilities are sometimes difficult to control. You've become accustomed to his impromptu thought scans, while all others find it less bearable to be around him. For this reason, He has kept his abilities a secret for many years overall, but you can't keep a secret such as this in the close-knit community of the Comitatus, especially not if you keep bursting minds and knowing things you shouldn't. So there are only a handful of your comus who put up with being near him for long. But even so, he hasn't probed your mind in years, certainly not on purpose, but neither by accident. Perhaps he's less in control now, which suggests he's more on edge about this whole trip than he lets it show. I will go with the first option. Apology accepted. You manage a faint smile. Let us return to the others and push on. There's still a day's travel ahead of us. Both of you walk down to the Comitatus and join the column. You go back to the Comitatus. As we were coming up to the gates of Scrap Heap, this trash-pile town of cutthroats and scavengers, we could see the vast mountain ranges of shattered Dwenger tar looming ominously over the horizon, half shrouded in the gaseous vapors belched forth by the volcanoes in the far west. My companions prepared to their business in town as fast as they could, not wishing to tarry about in this notorious place. Okay, we can go to scrap. Oh, there is the book also here. Okay, we have a calendar and some info about our things. Let's go to Scrap Heap. Okay, we're in Scrap Heap. When a comitatus enters a settlement, you can select from a variety of options, each on its separate pane, revolving around resting, resupplying and trading, as well as the opportunity to initiate stories located in the settlement. This time only the story pane is active. Follow the only available story. Okay. As the foot of ever-foaming... Oh, okay, this is an introduction. At the foot of the ever-foaming mountains of the ancient dwarven kingdom lies Scrap Heap, the town of scavengers. Debris and junk is piled into veritable hills. Upon which the rickety homes of the decrepit inhabitants stand. Ash lingers everywhere, and the sun is almost always absent from the twilit skies. Deals are struck day and night over the precious metal scraps gathered in the ruins of nearby Dwendar, where the Heap King oversees all from his dreaded tower. Soot-covered faces watch from under ash-laden awnings. Life is cheaper than iron here some say. Track down Arbo. Okay. Can he be convinced to help you out? Okay. So this is the story we opened. Ooh, this is a little bit creepy. The skull that has on its mouth the roll. How will you say a parchment? Yes, a parchment. You make your way to the Wraith's stash, a notorious watering hole tucked away in a small street just behind the imposing tower of the Heap King, but not quite under its immense shadow. Not many frequent the establishment, which makes it perfect for Narbo and his little operation of honest merchants. Apparently, the knave is not only alive, but has done well for himself in the past decade or so. Taking only Javek, you leave the comitatus to take to the care of Titus, your quartermaster, while you're gone negotiating. Ash is flitting from the black sky as you cross the street and nod to the bouncer of the Wraith's stash. You give him your sidearms quietly. Rules are rules, at least as long as they can enforce it. Yet they have the courtesy of allowing you to keep your dagger. And of course, they have no idea what Javek is capable of, should it come to a scuffle. Not that you expect such a thing, but with Narbonne, one never knows. Thought you've told your crew that him and you go way back? The entrepreneur is a capricious and manipulative man, with whom you did not part on the best of terms last time. Does he remember that? Surely. Could he be persuaded to take your proposal? Who knows? Your eyes slowly adjust to the dimness of the tavern's interior. Only a few candles and a lamp at the bar illuminates the common room. Shadowy faces turn toward you and observe you through the thick smoke. The bartender, a thick-set man in a dirty tunic, is chewing tobacco serenely. Above the bar hangs the skeleton of a large hip lizard on display. Narbo is sitting at a table in the back, his bodyguard half hidden in the darkness at the wall behind him. Okay, we have three options. I will go with the first one. Make your way confidently over to Narbo. The entrepreneur looks up from a stack of papers in front of him and rubs his eyes. Narbo is a corpulent man with a bushy dark beard and a few missing teeth. Part of his face is covered in scars similar to those left by old burns. That, coupled with a withered and mutated left arm that hangs limp at his side, is a clear indication of the taint. The merchant wears a leather jerkin studded with small bronze and bone coins, a sign of wealth and boldness. His bodyguard, a lean man with tribal tattoos and an outfit made of leather strips, moves his hand calmly to a spear that leans against the wall. Narbo's mouth falls open as the spark of recognition flares up in his eyes. No wonder, it's been 10 years. The fuck, mate, he blinks. I thought you croaked. People, Narbo waves his good hand around and looks at his bodyguard. Told tales of your demise. The man finishes his sentence for him as the merchant nods vehemently. That business with the Kerna cows and the storm, Narbo adds. You tell him that you were indeed at Kernak when the terrible arcane storm struck. You describe the horrors of that night briefly. You add how many of your original comitatus died there, close friends, old traveling companions, but you walked away unscathed. This was years ago. Sheesh! That fucker Irephone looked after you something fierce, are you? Norbert chuckles earthily. But I'm sure you haven't come to reminiscence about good old times, eh? His predatory smile makes you cautious, even though he invites you to sit down with a casual wave of his meaty hand. I will start apologizing. Yes, I think so. The first option. Apologize to him for the unfortunate way you parted 10 years ago. Far as I can tell, you never did anything against me, eh? Narbo shrugs with a wry smile. Course, you could have sent someone to warn us. The bodyguard finishes the sentence. Back when Narbo and you parted ways, the Avern and Camlegium was hot on your trails. They got offended by how you two outplayed them by smuggling in a shipment of exotic spices without their knowledge and selling it to a local nobleman's merchant house. You look at Narbo and tell him there was no way of warning him or even knowing where he was after the chaos hit following the heist in Avernum. You had to get your crew out of there, so you did. The merchant is thoughtfully fiddling with a stack of papers right by his earthenware coffee cup while listening to you. I appreciate coming clean, even if this sorry business was so many years ago, he says after a long pause. The bodyguard becomes visibly less tense, but something tells me that ain't all you came for still. So what is it? You breathe in. Time to outline your proposition. Some choices have dependencies, meaning you can only pick a certain choice if you had the right prerequisites. Perks, companions, resources, journal entries, and so on. Some choices involve tests, but can be failed or succeeded with different consequences. Perks, characters, and resources can change the chance of success in tests. Test difficulty is represented by a number between 1 and 100 that you need to roll equal or below. Okay, so I think that 1 is super easy and 100 is... no. To roll equal or below. Okay, no. 1 is super difficult and 100 is super easy. You explain to Narbo how you want him to give you a discount on the shipment of metal scraps, which you then would smuggle into Devon and folk contacts you have in the city's underworld. Once sold, the profit of a shipment will be quite exquisite. You do not name your contact, but divulge enough of her that the plan seems solid. Buyers, you say, are lining up, accepting the shipment soon. Narbo sits in silence, eyes fixed on the table as if listening to some noise from afar. He does not cut you off at any time during your proposition. At length, after you have done, he looks up and gives you a weak smile. That sounds like you've been thinking a long time about it, he says, and he shifts in his chair. And it's great a plan, except for the part where I give you a discount for ya asking, and not much else. And I don't do that, mate. That would make me... what? An almoner, the bodyguard adds discreetly. That a word? Narbo looks up at him. When the man nods, he turns back to you. Hi, an almoner, see? I'm no almoner. You know you gotta do better than that. What you got for me? Okay, the fourth option is closed. So I think we cannot... no, I'm sure we cannot do this, but perhaps choosing something other in the past may have led us to knowing something more about this Narbo. Well, we have three options. The first one is tell him that you'll be in his debt. He'll make a tidy profit as it is, but you'll owe him a favor, with moderate chance of success. Remind him that you two used to make a great team and this could rekindle that partnership. Low chance of success. Or reveal that you are in a bad spot and it's your last chance. Okay, I have plus 40% for being charismatic and for the level of persuasion. Here I have plus 5% for my persuasion and plus 10% for my charismatic. Well, I think it would be not a good option to give him the knowledge of how bad we are in debt and in which bad situation we are now. So I think I will discard the third one. he will be super powerful if he knows how badly we need this discount. The second one is really difficult to achieve. So it's maybe the best one, because it will be pretty much free. The first one is more easy to achieve, but I think he will ask for us something in exchange for that. But I think I will do the first one, for being more sure of what it follows. Success, okay. I suppose ya don't plan on croaking, just so I can't collect on said debt. Narbo's chuckle turns into a short, wheezing cough. Alright, well, I know ya to be a man of your word, and we used to run together, so I know you're good. But just to be clear, you do owe me for this, and I'll collect. I'll collect right now, in fact. You added to Devon by way of a Avernum, yai? When you nod, Narbo leans closer and signals his bodyguard. The man with the dreadlocks steps closer and carefully produces a small packet from beneath his leather jerkin, then puts it into the merchant's palm. This here little fella is mighty important to me, see? If you take this out of the city and deliver it to my associate in Avernum, we're even. You get your discount scrap from me. The merchant offers you the package. Javek draws in breath, but before he could speak, Narbo interrupts him. And before Pretty Boy here asks, no, I won't tell you what's in it, and don't even think about opening the package. What I can say is, it ain't dangerous to you yourself, but you might wanna keep it hidden from the damn militia of Gold of Crabkeep. Okay, so it's something of black market, I think. Something that is illegal to sell or to move or something stolen, I think. You take the package. The way Narbo stares at you makes it clear you have no other choice. This might just be an opportunity of you hoped for. So as I suppose this was in exchange of something. The package is small enough to fit your palm. Feels very light and is wrapped in fine leather. You pocket it after briefly observing it. You'll be looking for a man named Scornar in Avernum. He ain't to be trifled with either. You tell him I'm sent you and you'll be fine. You can find him or his man in Lavinus, watering hole, most of the time. Give this little fellow to him and to him only. Understand? After you assure him you do, Narbo instructs you to give him an hour. Then look for his people at the market and simply introduce yourself. They'll know what price on the metal scraps they should give you by then. He motions it to his men. You and Javek stand up and make ready to leave. Rather, will take you to the back exit. We don't want to give people the idea they can come here to beg for alms now, do we? Or anyone to connect us and run to the militia, for what matter. You got what you came for, so you leave. The wraith's stash through the back entrance and head back to the Comitatus. Your journal has become active in the bottom left corner. It is your means to follow stories and tasks. Open your journal now by clicking on the book in the bottom left corner. Okay, so this is it. The journal allows you to view your quests, tasks, and other related information. You can search for entries, search field, and filter them. Drop-down filter buttons. For better viewability on the top left, a list of entries can be seen on the left. There are two types of entries, objectives and qualities. Objectives have your quests and tasks. The text of a selected list item appears on the right. These give a description of the quest or task and provide active objectives. Unread entries have a blue exclamation mark icon and appear on top, while already read entries have a gold dot, active, green check mark, completed, or red crossed circle, failed icons. Qualities are all the qualities the comitatus or the leader currently has. They can be statuses, gathered information, rumors, and so on. Unread entries have a blue exclamation mark icon and appear on top, while already read entries have a gold circle icon. Okay. The shipment. You must save your comitatus by taking large shipment of metal to them. For your contact in scrapping, okay. Buy at least 40 metal scraps at the market. Okay. The package. You received a package from your old friend Narbo. Deliver it to a man named Scorner in Averno. Okay. Let's close this. The market pane is now active. Navigate to the market pane by clicking on the scales icon. Okay. The market pane displays the available goods you can buy at the settlement's market on the right and opens your cargo pane on the left. You can buy goods from the market or sell your own goods from your cargo hold here. When buying or selling, buy or sell one increment only by clicking on the buy or sell button. Holding shift and clicking the buys a sell or sells a whole stack, respectively. Drag and drop the icon for buying or selling stacks of goods. Holding shift and clicking the icon opens a window where you can specify the quantity you wish to buy or sell. Purchase at least 40 scrap metal and supplies enough for at least 10 days. Okay. How many days of supplies do we have? Supplies 2 days, okay. So let's buy holding shift and clicking the icon. Okay. So 33. Okay, this is a lot. We have not much money left. Let's buy supplies. For 10 days is a lot. 10 days, I think we will have to fool ourselves to have supplies for 10 days. Okay, equipment that you can attach to the comitatus is sold on some markets and found through your travels. They provide bonuses and upgrades. You can switch between the market of goods and equipment using the buttons over the list of items in the market pane. Okay, so we can go to the equipment. Ownings. Minus 25% worker consumption. Linen awning stretched over saddles and carts to block harmful weather effects. Oh, we can... okay, no, we have to do this. Equipment you own are in a pool below a comitatus illustration. In order to gain their bonuses, you need to equip them by dragging and dropping them into an appropriate slot on the illustration. Equipment can only be placed in a slot that matches its type, except that equipment of any type can be placed into the miscellaneous slot. You can unequip equipment by dragging it back to the list. Okay, so this one is what for this? Okay, I think so. Items, the third type of cargo, do not take up cargo space and are not equipable. They are used and traded in certain events. You can switch panes in a settlement and the active pane will open the corresponding pane of the Comitatus management on the left. You can now freely check the settlement tabs. Okay. So we have only medical supplies right now. When you are done exploring, click on the arch icon on the bottom right to leave scrap heap. Once you leave, you cannot come back to this place in the Pilgrims of the Westland, so be sure to do everything you want to. I don't know if buy other scrap metal, but I think it is counted that we can visit Heap King or go to the market district, but not now. I think we will leave Scrap Heap and we will close the live stream after that. With all your businesses all here concluded, packed up and restocked on supplies, you finally make ready to leave the decrepit town of Scrap Heap behind in the morning. Okay. I think we have to do the first one, because the second one will leave us in Scrap Heap. I need to go away from Scrap Heap. We will pay the guarded compound, so... well... okay, 1 silver coin. You set out at dawn, ashes flitting from the sky and the distant mountains rumble ominously in the morning twilight as your comitatus reaches the west gate of the town. Almost immediately you notice that guardsmen and militia at the gates are working in groups, questioning and inspecting travelers. Ooh, the inspection. Okay, we have the package. Even if you are looking for the package Narbo gave you, you realize that there is a minuscule chance of finding it among several departing caravans, all made up of dozens of people respectively. Besides, the package is tiny and well hidden at the bottom of a sack of dried mushrooms. A robed magistrate of a Heap King appears to coordinate the search effort, picking out people or whole traveling groups for inspection. As your comitatus draws near, it takes only a passing glance from him to appraise you and your crew before he motions to the guards to let you through. You quietly pass under the gate and out into the broken wastelands. The comitatus is well on its way and Scrap Heap is mirrored out on the horizon by the time Javek joins you at the front of the line. Just like I said, you made the right choice with this venture. Talk of how you may have saved us all is spreading like wildfire, he says with a faint smile. Of course, we do have to make it alive to the way to Devon with the cargo, but it's a good start, don't you think? I will choose the second one. Agreed. There may be hope left for the comitatus after all. Well, I'm sure it will be fine. It's not like we started with this business yesterday. With that, you both go back to your own duties and to the constant monitoring of the horizon. If all goes well, you'll reach the Wound in a few days, where you can turn south along the edge of the Molten Tongue and travel down to Avernum. The journey continues. Plus 3 morale. End. In Pilgrims of the Westland, your progress is saved at checkpoints, like it has just been saved now. Also, whenever you leave a settlement, an autosave occurs, overwriting the previous settlement save. Another autosave occurs with each in-game new day, overwriting the previous day's save. You can load your saved games from the game menu, ESC or F10, or from the main menu, Hold Space. There they were, with a full cargo hold and filled with newfound hope, yet the road ahead still promised hardship and peril. I traveled with them southwards, expecting to reach more habitable lands beyond the molten tongues rivers of lava. Okay, I think we will close the live stream right now. Okay, I will save the game. Okay, it's impossible. So thank you for coming to say hi to the live stream. Thank you to everyone that will see the live stream after it being live. And have a nice day. We can follow me on Twitter, on Telegram for Italian only, and on YouTube, where you will find this live stream in past broadcast. Bye.